This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
This season marks a new beginning. Witness the raw power, iconic sound, and pure speed from the historic Lotus 79. Experience the competition and glory days of early 80s open-wheel action. Watch as drivers wrestle these ground effects cars into submission. Drivers will face off wheel to wheel. For some, it's a chance at redemption. For others, an opportunity to make a statement. All sharing the same goal, to be crowned champion. Who will be victorious tonight? The Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker starts now.
Tonight, the Lionheart Racing Series pays tribute to one of its most beloved members, a proud Canadian who was taken from us far too soon. It's Thursday night, and we're live on the iRacing Esports Network tonight. Round 17, the penultimate race of the Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker, the Patrick Taylor Memorial Grand Prix at Motorsports. Good evening, I'm Jason Galvin, joined tonight by Sean Ambrose, gave the banker the night off. I'm Jed Yamin calling the shots, along with cameras from Dougie Beard, and this is the Sim Experience Countdown to the Green, Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. What an event this should be.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Motorsport. Coming down to turn 1, you can tell right away that this track is both bumpy and fast. Be careful not to get too wide at the exit or else you'll spin the car across the track and smack the wall. Then comes Clayton, which will offer very little chance to react if something goes wrong ahead of you. You're absolutely flying through this blind bend, so running in traffic will be nerve-wracking. After that, you hit Quebec, which really opens up on the exit, so getting to the right line and getting to the power as soon as you can will be critical through here. Keep it flat to the floor down through turn 4, but hold the car to the left and try to keep her steady over the bumpy braking zone. Throttle control coming out of Moss will be make or break. It dumps you onto the long Andretti straight, so drivers that know the limit of traction will be finding those extra few tenths. And that's incredibly difficult in a car with this much horsepower coming out of a turn that slow. Climbing back uphill, expect the draft to play a part in the racing with the big hole this car punches in the air. Once you come to the last crest, stay to the left and swing it into the S's. Passes will be possible around the outside, so watch for drivers to try and hold on and then claim the apex for turn 9. Be wary of the inside curb around White's corner, and as you bring it to the line, we've now finished a lap around Motorsport.
And welcome back from that lovely preview of this beautiful track up here in Canada, folks. Yes, we've come north of the border here in North America today for this almost 2.5 mile course, 10 turns, 3.957 kilometers. You know, the low downforce car that is the Lotus 79 will have challenges here, Jason. The drivers don't really get much of a break, and the lack of, any real chicanes. Keep the drivers very busy, very active, and the lack of any real significant runoff could bring big problems, especially when we get out of turn one, up the hill, and down through Clayton. That runoff there has been collecting drivers, well, since 1961. Moss Corner, let's face it, you get it right, you get it wrong, you get it wrong, you're going to get it real wrong. There's no just kind of getting it wrong. It's trouble down there. It's trouble for everybody, but it's awful fast too. So a lot of opportunities to get a pass coming out of the second part of Moss. The Andretti Straight, that's where we're going to see the drafting, the greatness that is the slipstream of the Lotus 79. We're going to get to experience that full force today. Top speed up the hill, down the Mario Andretti Straight, of course, then to the S's, and of course the final turn, White's Corner, which, well, presents its own challenges. Jason Carr gets very, very evil coming out of White's, and there's no runoff on either side, to the left or to the right. It's wall, and tarmac in the middle, and that's where you want to be when you hit the start-finish line.
Yeah, when the NASCAR series decided to start making their way in real life north of the border to this track, it's White's Corner. For as much rah-rah that Moss gets and what a calamity that can be, it's been White's that's created all of the dramatic moments for the biggest racing series in the world that come up to what is now affectionately, or maybe unaffectionately, known as Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. And Sean, did you know where the name Motorsport came from?
I really don't. I'm gonna let you tell me and the fans. I'm open for an education on this one. I did not know there was a story behind that.
So Motorsport, or as everybody has come to call it, Mosport, which is incorrect, and I think that a lot of that comes because of Moss Corner, which is completely unrelated to the name. But Motorsport is a portmanteau of the words motor and sport. What is a portmanteau, you may ask?
That was my big question.
Yes. It's just a combination of two words to make one. Basically, shortening two words into one for convenience. So, Mosport, is short for motorsport, which I thought was interesting.
Okay, I'll take that. That's a good explanation.
I figured that you would. I did. Want to remind everybody, this is the Sim Experience Countdown to the Green, brought to you by our great friends at Sim Experience, the team behind the AccuForce Pro V2 direct driving steering system, of which, Sean, I got mine in the mail yesterday. You have no idea how excited I am.
I heard about that.
Did you? Okay.
We're on social media together.
That's true. That's a good point. Yes. Yeah. By providing unparalleled realism and the most advanced tuning features on the market, the AccuForce provides a significant advantage to any sim racer. It also makes for an effective training tool for real-world drivers. For more information on the entire Sim Experience ecosystem, including the GS5 seat, the Stage Series motion system, and the SimVibe software, head to simexperience.com. Promo code for 5% off of the SimVibe software is SimXLion. Thank all the sponsors that make the great broadcasts here in the Lionheart Racing Series happen throughout the year. Let's take a look, why don't we, here with 2 races left in the season at the championship point standings. And somebody cue the Happy Trails song, because Ryan Otis is checked out of this one. 167-point lead over David Clymer. There was a chance that Ryan Otis could lose the championship, but it required Ryan Otis to make 0 starts the rest of the year. So, to my knowledge, a green flag for Ryan Otis will officially begin the championship celebration for the Oregonian. David Clymer, comfortably locked into second right now. It would take a pretty rough couple of races here, combined with probably a pair of wins out of the following drivers to unseed Clymer from second. But the big battle right now is for that final podium spot. Paul Jenkins, Dustin Wardlow, Sage Karam, Mark Cohn, all right there within 19 points. And remember, double points at Auto Club next week in the season finale. And that means that Mardi Gras Mall and Chris Lanini probably also are not necessarily out of the battle to move up into the third spot. It's going to be something awfully fun here to watch during this one as we take a look now at our team standings for the season, presented by our friends at Plasma Tracks, plasma-tracks.com. Holiday season coming up. Not sure if you can still get it in time, but it can't hurt to go look. Trust me, if you're like, man, I got a motor racing fan who wants Plasma Tracks would be a great gift for them, go check them out, plasma-tracks.com. Raven Motorsports Black. Happy Trails doesn't even properly apply to what they have done to the team standings this year. It'll be back-to-back championships for Raven. The Ryan Otis, James Paulson, Dustin Wardlow team has obliterated everybody else. And second place, and NLR Sim Racing has to feel pretty comfortable as well. But again, the battle for third between Firefly and Riding Shotgun's primary team there as well. And finally, the Butt Kicker Rookie of the Year awards. And right now it is Mr. David Clymer. And he has a comfortable lead over Paul Jenkins as well in the Rookie of the Year competition. So those are the things that we are keeping an eye on here as far as points go. So we close in on the end of the season. And so we take a look out on the track right now. They are qualifying here at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, or Mosport, as we have discussed. And right now it is Ryan Otis who has a pretty comfortable gap on Alex Saunders, a little over 0.3 of a second. That's a little surprising. Those two had a whale of a battle a couple of weeks ago in round 16 at Laguna Seca. It was just a phenomenal battle to watch between Otis and Saunders at Laguna Seca, as Sage Karam had completely checked out. Of interesting note, Sage Karam is not in the room right now with 3 minutes left before qualifying, and that would also throw a wrench into the points battle that we have talked about. Sage, with his 5th win of the year at Laguna Seca, jumped up to 5th in points. Had a pretty big run there. He is also short the maximum total of races, as he has started just 12 races so far. So he is going to end up short of the total no matter what, which is mighty impressive had he ran the entire season. And of course, he had some things like real life races get in the way, so nobody's going to hold that against him. But at least I hope nobody's holding that against him. But had Sage been able to run those other 2 races, he's probably right there with Ryan Otis in the championship battle. Right now, it looks like Aaron Morgan's sitting there in the 3rd spot. David Clymer's 4th, and Mark Cohn, who won a practice race. I know he's pretty pumped about that. His first win in a practice race on a road course here in the Lionheart Series. Sits in 5th right now with 2 minutes left in qualifying. And as you can see, these cars really scoot around this track here. 1 minute and 7 seconds for a quick lap time. And so a lot of these drivers probably waited a little bit in the session to see if the track would cool off a little bit before going out. So there are still some drivers who can take some laps. As you look at Frank Biester's car come across, and Biester's currently in the 14th spot now. A little bit surprised to look down at the bottom there and see Dustin Wardlow and Finian also kind of struggling around there in 17th and 18th. That's very unlike either of them. That far down.
Jason, don't really fast guys like you in a Dallara IR18 get around here in just over a minute? Isn't it like 102s, 101, something like that?
If I recall, we were down in the 101s maybe at one point. Yeah. Like light on fuel on the button. We could maybe dip down into the low 101s. It was intense getting around here in the Dallara. And I'm humbled that you call me a fast guy, but on a road course, look, I'll take it on an oval, but on a road course, if I run around in 9th or 10th, then that's like winning the Indy 500 in real life to me. So
I seem to remember a former Lionheart champion named Jake Wright that was flirting with a 1 flat here several years ago when we were doing some testing here, and scary.
Yeah,
fast track.
This place is wild. I love this place in this car, and this is the first race that the Lionheart series has run the retro cars here. But I love this car in general, and it is so twitchy, and that's what I love about it here. I actually think that this track plays into how aggressive you have to drive this car. This is a car that will bite you if you are not aggressive enough, believe it or not. This car wants to be driven hard, and if you are too light on the throttle, or you lift too much, or you don't put enough wheel into it, it'll take you for a ride. And this track is a whip the car around type of track. I think it's going to make for a incredibly fun race here tonight as we get ready to grid these cars on up. Why don't we take a look at your starting lineup for the Patrick Taylor Memorial Grand Prix at Motorsports. And starting grid brought to you by our friends at Butt Kicker with Ryan Otis on the pole. The only car in the 107s at a 107.782. Alex Saunders will start on the outside of row 1. Mark Cohn, Aaron Morgan, row 2. David Clymer, Dustin Wardlow. There's the lap we were waiting on from the Candyman to get up there into row 3. Travis Jagerlener and James Paulson, row 4. Chris Reagan and Dean Mardi Gras Mall in row 5.
All right, I'll get row 6. It's Ryan Corns sitting there, the Canadian, the number 28. 11th, Chad Dalton. Going to start 12th. Row 7, Scott Holmes. And the number 67, Chris Lanini. Back with us tonight. He'll start 14th. Row 8, Frank Beezer. Paul Jenkins in the number 35 will start 16th. Row 9, Finian Ducana, the number 94. And Jorge Anzaldo, my good friend George. He knows I'm messing with him. Row 10, Adam Young and Thomas Ryan. Love that dude. He's been around a long time there, Jason.
Yeah, and Tommy didn't turn a qualifying lap, and neither did Ricky Harden, but it's been fun to see them back this week running some practice laps here. They were part of the group that really made the IndyCar series take off and led to the Retro Series. See a couple of stragglers back there as well with Mike Rigney and Robert Bloom. So I don't know if they are actually going to start or not. I would imagine Robert turned some practice laps. I'd imagine that Robert is definitely going to start this one in honor of his good friend, Patrick Taylor. Of course, we're running this race in Patrick's honor. We lost Patrick a couple of years ago, and many of us, I was on the admin team at the time and worked closely with Patrick on the incredible postseason yearbook that Patrick and George put together. And I got to tell you,
got mine right here.
I got to tell you, I am looking at mine too. I can still tell you the spot I was in when we found out Patrick had passed away suddenly and unexpectedly. And he was young. He was in his 30s and took care of his parents. And he was just, when I say genuinely one of the nicest people, a lot of things get said about people after they pass away, especially if they pass away at a young age. Nothing that you'll hear from anybody in this series about Patrick Taylor is a farce. He was the real deal. He was as nice as they got, as genuine as they got, always checking in on everybody, cared about everybody, loved this league and this community. And I still miss him every day. I know many of us still miss him every day. I cared about him so much. I run a Patrick Taylor Memorial sticker on my real race car because he meant that much to me. And I know that I'm not the only one in the series that does that as well. So this race tonight's dedicated to Patrick. We sure miss him like crazy, and we're glad that everybody here is along for the ride in this one. Let's take a look at the onboard cameras that we have here as we get ready to take the green flag, and we do have 3 of them. George Anzaldo is sporting the Patrick Taylor Memorial onboard camera here in this one, and I can't tell you, Robert and Patrick were probably the closest friends in the league, but George was right there with him as well. Ryan Otis, the points leader and soon-to-be champion in the Clipping That Apex onboard camera, will start from the pole, and the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, sporting the plasma tracks on board as well as the cars make their way down the Mario Andretti straight into the S's on the pace lap here. And in through whites, the pace car will peel off, and Ryan Otis will bring us to the green flag along with Alex Saunders. So glad you're spending a Thursday night with us here in the Lionheart Retro Series. 51 laps coming your way from Motorsports, and the green flag is out on the Patrick Taylor Memorial Grand Prix. Looks like everybody got clean through turn 1 for the first time. We head down the hill through Clayton. This is where it can get dicey if you get wide off of Clayton, because there's no runoff there in the sim like there's been added in real life, as They make their way through, down the hill, past Quebec into the left, and the first time into the heaviest braking zone of Moss. And it's Otis fending off Saunders right now. So we look back through the field, and so far, everybody doing a great job here on the
battle for
open
third.
lap.
Coming up the Andretti Straight.
This is Mark Cohn and Aaron Morgan side by side. Cohn on the inside. And the Watchman from Northern California is going to get the position. Mark Cohn into third on the opening lap of this one. He was feeling awfully confident after practice this week, and it shows here on lap number 1. Ryan Otis, your leader, as they cross the stripe for the first time and begin lap number 2. And things happen quick around here, Sean.
They certainly do, but fortunately, all the drivers have managed to keep it on track here so far. Starting to spread out just a little bit. Paulson's picked up a spot back there. Mardi Gras Mall's picked up a couple already. Travis Jagerliner, though, didn't get a great start in this one. He's dropped to P10 already after starting 7th tonight.
Biggest mover on the opening lap was Ricky Harden, who did take the green from the back up 4 spots. And Finian Ducania is actually already, looks like off or out. He just not take the green flag. I'm showing him here as he's already lost 5 spots in a lap. So I don't know if Finian had an issue on lap 1 that we missed at the back of the pack, or just simply chose not to take the green flag. Finian is on the track. Let's take a look at the battle for the lead. And here's Alex Saunders to the point. Drafts around Ryan Otis.
Yeah, it was all about slipstream right there. Just getting the advantage to the inside.
Did go back and check in on Finian, and he started from pit road, so that's why he is so far back here to start this race. Boy, and Alex Saunders, as soon as he got around Ryan Otis, was able to open up quite a gap right away. You wonder, Saunders really has nothing to race for here because he's missed so many races and he's not in the points. Ryan Otis has to know that the championship was effectively over when he took the green flag, and he's normally a very conservative racer. Got trouble. Somebody off. Is that Aaron Morgan and Moss? Aaron Morgan is off in Moss. And that's going to end Aaron Morgan's race, I believe.
It might here, Jason. It doesn't look like it was very good. He just got in. Looked like he got in a little bit hot, and he did stuff him all the way up into the barrier there.
As soon as he got off sideways there into the grass, that's a pretty heavy hit with the left front of this race car, and it crinkled the ring pretty good. He did tow, and he has disconnected. So Aaron Morgan is the first victim of Moss Corner here at Motorsport. And after qualifying so well in the 4th position, is out of this race on lap number 3 as we have began the 4th lap here. And Saunders has opened up a half-second lead on Ryan Otis and then some. Mark Cohn comfortably in 3rd right now, and especially with Morgan out, has really no pressure from David Clymer. Clymer is feeling the heat a little bit, though, from Dustin Wardlow.
That's what I'm watching. I'm watching the Candyman right now. He is riding up on Clymer, and Clymer's got all he can handle in the mirror right now. It's a full of the Dwarves Lotus 79.
Finian Ducania is also retired from this race after starting from pit lane, so 2 cars out early. Wardlow's got a big run, but he's not going to be able to make the move as they head into the S's and whites for the completion of the 4th lap here. Had a chance on Sunday to spend some time with Dustin. He lives here in the same city I do, out in Bakersfield in California, and he and I have both just been so busy. It's been hard for the two of us to get together of late, and I know that he has not been able to get the laps in lately that he wants, but he's very good at this track. He was good at this track in the IndyCar, and he is really an excellent driver in this Lotus 79 and the retro car as well, as they chase it through Moss. And Wardlow had a really nice run on Clymer there. Last time he closed in just a little bit too late down the Mario Andretti straight. We'll see if he can get a better run this time as that draft kicks in about halfway down. Boy, David Clymer almost got into the grass there. Wardlow's going to, again, get there, I think, just a little bit too late. This is the best battle on the track right now.
Make me kind of jealous talking about hanging out with Dustin. You know, I've been here for over a year and a half, and I still haven't come down and hung out with you guys. I feel kind of bad about that. So.
It's only like a 2-hour drive, bros.
It's actually 3 for me.
Is it?
It takes me 45 minutes to just get off my mountain.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you know, when you're the king of the castle, that makes sense. You know the doors are always open here in Bakersfield for you. There's no invite needed.
All right, Cadillac under pressure here. Dalton's got Ryan Corns really there. Scott Holmes, Chris Lanini. This is actually a big 4-car battle going on right now.
Chris Lanini is actually a teammate of mine over the IndyCar side, Sean, and he sent a message in our team chat just before this one started, and he said, you know, I know the eyes are going to be up front, but you guys are going to have some fun racing to watch here in the middle of this pack because there's so many of us that have pretty much identical pace, and well, he's not wrong so far. From Travis Jaegerleiner in 9th, really from Chris Reagan in 8th back to Frank Bieser in 15th, you're looking at 5.5 seconds.
Corns gets by Dalton there in Moss.
When immediately Corns opens up a little bit of a gap, and Scott Holmes and Chris Lanini are both poking around as well. Make a move down the front straight's really difficult here. That's the one thing about this track. You really have 2 passing opportunities. One of them is into Moss, but you've got to be there. You can't send it late or you'll just wreck everybody. And the other one is at the end of the Mario Andretti straight. And if you get a passing opportunity in any other corner, it's usually because the driver in front of you made a mistake. Either that or you're probably forcing the issue. And, you know, that's kind of frowned upon.
You've never forced the issue on track.
What? No. Nobody's perfect. I've had some regrettable moments, indeed.
Hey, let's go back to P15 because I think Bieser's about to lose this to Ryan. Ryan's going to continue his climb up the field. He's bringing his teammate Harden with him back there. It's Harden now.
Say that.
Yeah. A couple of unacceptable drivers, in my opinion.
Ricky Harden and Tommy Ryan, if they start running again in the Lionheart series, everybody better watch out. They are both plenty capable of being competitive, winning races.
Say it right now. They're a couple fast old rednecks. That's a period. So.
Pretty good way to describe the two of them, indeed. I'll never forget pretty sure it was my first race in the Lionheart series at Homestead. And Tommy Ryan should have finished in second and disconnected coming out of turn 4 to the checkered flag. I don't think I've ever felt so bad for somebody than to spend 140 plus laps running around in second place.
I could think of another race where I feel bad for somebody, and you were involved in it too, but we're not going there. It was a long time ago.
I was going to say, was I leading from when it happened?
I'm not even going to comment anymore. So
and was it in the car that we're watching right now?
No, it was in the Indy car, actually.
Oh, okay. We're going to have to talk about that one later, I guess. I was thinking Indy in the inaugural year of this series when we wrecked 8 cars coming to the line in 9th place, won the race.
Okay, the list is long.
It is long, yeah. Well,
all right, so Saunders, though, listen, you know what? I think Otis is just really just biding his time to a couple of pit stops here. I don't think there's any real racing going on between the two of them competitively right now. I think they're just putting down the laps, if you know what I mean. Cone, on the other hand, back there, has done a decent job of actually keeping himself pretty far ahead of David Clymer. Maybe not on the last lap. He was about a half second slower, but Cone's done a pretty good job here of holding on to that third position since we got started almost 10 laps in now.
And they are telling us.
Oh, Jenkins just had a problem.
Paul Jenkins.
Ooh, a big problem, too. He's hurt.
Oh, yeah. The back of that race car is not going to be very happy the rest of this race. Oh, boy, is it Bieser that got into him? Oh, it is. That's tough.
Well, yeah. So Bieser got into him. He was already spun, though.
Yeah,
Beast,
no,
not
that's what I'm
Beezer, but-
saying.
Yeah.
Jenkins went around. That's like a no-win situation. Tommy Ryan did a great job missing, and then Ricky Harden was coming, and I think Jenkins was just trying to get out of the way, and Beezer had already committed.
Yeah. He's
That's
gonna want. I think
pretty
he's not
catastrophic.
more than just wing damage. Actually, Beezer. I think he's actually got suspension damage. He's bringing his car in.
And Jenkins, I think, is just going to have rear wing damage, but that's so much rear wing damage,
Yeah,
and I'm
that's not
not
gonna
sure he's going to be able to hang on very long. Battle for sixth right now, James Paulson and Mardi Gras. Down the Andretti straight. Will Dean Maw make a move? He's peeking. Oh, what's wrong with David Clymer? Oh, David Clymer spun.
He
spun
sure
in the
did,
S's.
Jason. He sure did, buddy, and he did it right in front of Dustin Wardlow. Wardlow just misses him, man. I mean, Wardlow had to get on the binders hard.
Boy, the Plasma Tracks onboard should be a good one here. Everybody
Great
get
job
your-
by Dustin, man. This is great racecraft here. That car could have broke either way. He guessed right.
and even worse, the car that Dustin's driving could have snapped too. This car
Yeah.
does not like quick twitch movements like that, and Dustin Wardlow was able to avoid it. I've got a package of Huggies baby wipes I'll be sending Dustin's way after this one.
You have lots of those, I'm sure.
Well, you know, when you have a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
There's a couple
Yeah, but-
good battles shaping up here. We're looking right now at this is P5 between Paulson and Mardi Gras, and right behind them now, Clymer has Chris Reagan climbing all over the back of him. Although I would imagine Clymer's actually going to pull away pretty quick and probably insert himself into this Paulson and Mole battle. He's getting ready to say before the incident starting picking up there, Sean. 51 laps, 125 miles. They tell us the pit window is somewhere between 24 and 25 laps, which would then take us between 48 and 50.
Yeah. That's what they said.
Now, the last couple races they've said that, and a couple drivers have been able to stretch it and make it a one-stop race. So we'll keep an eye on that as we close in. And believe it or not, we're already halfway to said pit window because, well, we told you things just fly here.
They do. They do, yeah. A couple of cars, though. We know Beezer had trouble. Did we see what happened to Adam Young? Adam's been in the pits for 2.5 minutes. I don't recall.
I did
if we
not
brought
see
that up
what
or not.
happened to
He's
Adam
had
Young.
trouble.
Adam Young is disconnected now, so whatever happened to Adam Young wasn't very good. We're going to look at the 9th position. Travis Jagerleiner dropped back early on after qualifying in the 7th spot and regained a position. Right now, he's sandwiched in between Chris Reagan and Ryan Corns.
Hey, I found out what happened to Adam, by the way.
Do tell.
Poor guy. Back on lap 10, he got in a little hot coming over the hill there in Clayton, and it just ran off, and it ran off right down the hill into the tire barrier, and he stuffed
That'll
it.
happen. Yeah, that'll happen. You know, there are many fine folk out there who, you know, we just got the updated version of Lime Rock here on iRacing with all the runoff room, and they want a similar update here at Motorsport. I like having this one, personally. I love that you're on the edge in every corner, and you know, There's no forgiveness for mistakes, so to speak.
No, there's not. There really is very, very little. And so easy to get, especially in the Lotus 79, so easy to get wing damage here, Jason. I shouldn't have to tell you that. I mean, you clip a couple of these curbs like down a Moss somewhere, you're gonna bend your wing up. And I was just looking at Chris Reagan. He's got a little bit of I think on the left front of his wing, or a couple cars throughout the field have all got a little bit of damage on the wing.
Yeah, the car in front of Ryan Corns is a Jägerländer, and he has some damage on the left front of his wing as well. Battle for third as Dustin Wardlow has made a move around Mark Cohn. That happened at the end of the Andretti straight.
Yeah, it was all about slipstream, but it did kind of seem a little bit like Mark let him have it. Maybe Mark was just kind of exploring for a few laps up there, seeing what it was like riding in third, and just kind of gave it back to him. There's a lap comparison on screen.
Candyman has been almost pretty consistently the third best car on the track.
Yeah,
Mark Cohn, you're right.
Talk about that.
Yeah, well, I'm not
Maybe
going
we
to
should talk about the Candyman much longer. Maybe we should just be quiet.
Should we move on? Well,
Yeah,
we're looking at Alex Saunders and Ryan Otis right now, so that's a good one. Ryan Otis, by the way, just dipped into the 107s. Both drivers have done that a couple of times. Both cars that time around go 108s, 108 flats. Look at the lap comparisons here, and you'll see.
Yeah.
Basically traded shots. You do all the math right there, and it's almost a wash.
Yeah, it really is. But at least I don't profess to do any math on air here. It generally doesn't work out well for me, Jason.
Look, Sean, here's the deal. A wise man once told me never let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Okay.
Just roll with it,
Okay. I'll take that advice.
Dustin Wardlow has really opened up that gap from Mark Cohn, and that's about a second and a half now. James Paulson's another 4 seconds back of Cohn. That's the 5th position. Marty Gramal and David Clymer are neck and neck right now, and that's probably the closest battle on the track right now for 6th and 7th. And I tell you what, another one that I'm looking at here as we roll on down through, but Ryan Corns is 0.2 of a second behind Travis Jägerländer as well. So, and here's a look at the battle for 12th. Chris Lanini, Chad Dalton, and Tommy Ryan continuing his march through the field.
Lanini just got by Dalton on the Andretti straight back there. Again, another slipstream move in the Lotus 79. But boy, I'll tell you what, Dalton really tried to block him off right before they got to the S's.
Tommy Ryan started this race back in the 20th spot, and his teammate Ricky Harden in 21st. Both gained 6 spots, the biggest movers in this one. Robert Bloom, by the way. And while things are kind of calm, if we can maybe jump back to Robert. He's just cruising around right now in the 23rd spot. He's up 5 spots. He's running his race. Doesn't have a lot of pace, but I can tell you right now that this race for him is as important as any race on the schedule. Robert from British Columbia, province of Canada, and so was Patrick. Robert Bloom attended Patrick Taylor's memorial service on behalf of the members of the Lionheart Racing Series. They were dear friends. I know that Robert has stayed in contact with Patrick's parents, and Patrick's mom checks in from time to time. I've emailed her before. What a wonderful lady. I'm sure this one means a lot to Robert just to be out there turning laps in honor of his buddy.
In the pre-race, George had written, we got a battle for the lead here. Finally, they're back to going wheel to wheel. I'll go back to that. Otis took a look. He stuck it in there and then, backed out of it. What I was going to say, what I was getting ready to say was George had written about the fact that how Patrick used to greet everybody when they joined the team speak. And that's always one of the things I think about, because I back then I used to be able to practice with you guys quite a bit. And I always loved practicing with him because he had a very distinct way of how he, a very Canadian way of how he said he was getting off or getting back onto the track from a pit stop. And I always remember that, and I always kind of mock it still, the whole pitting out thing. Just, it was very Canadian, but it was very unique to him. And again, the guy was just so friendly. Like I said, the way he greeted everybody when you came into the team speak room. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, really, I can't say enough good things about him, and hopefully everybody tuning in tonight understands, how much of an impact he made on the league members, and especially, like I said, I was fortunate in what I think are some of the formative years of this series to be part of the admin team here, and help build it into what it has become. And Patrick was as instrumental in that and had as much of a vision as anybody, and really worked hard. It takes a mountain of members, to put this league together. As Robert Blumen's had some issues and is towed off the track here. It takes a lot of effort to put this league together as we look at what happened to Robert Blumen.
I just ran it out wide there. Maybe did it on purpose. Yeah, it looks like he was just done.
Still great to see him out there turning laps in this race, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
You see Frank Bieser has also parked it, and it looks like Paul Jenkins has also had a little bit of issues, although he's still on the track and now goes around Blumen for the running spot there. So that rear wing has really affected Jenkins' run, as he is all the way back now.
Yeah, I think Paul's going to – I think he's just going to run out to the pit stop, to be honest with you, at this point. I thought he would come in when he got the damage, but he comes around for another lap here, and Jenkins going to keep it going. He's 13 and a half seconds behind George at this point. So he's definitely tail end Charlie right now, but pit stop's going to be coming up soon. That window is here.
Yeah, the window is rapidly approaching here for Alex Saunders and Ryan Otis, and you wonder if Otis – tries to get up there and take one more run at Saunders before they hit pit road. There's not a lot of time at this track necessarily to be made or lost on pit in and pit out, because they are both so short. Pit in especially. Pretty much run through the S's as you normally would, and then you set up for the final corner on the track in whites almost identically. You just, instead of getting back to the throttle, you stay heavy on the brake and woe it down to get onto pit road. And then same on the exit. You come out of the exit into turn one and, pretty much wide open. It dumps you out and sets you up right away for Clayton. And with these cars especially, because you're probably not changing tires. Changing tires doesn't really benefit you in this car particularly. It means the tires are already going to have some heat on it, so you should really be able to come out and attack Clayton pretty well, as to where in some of the heavier stock cars and sports cars, and even in the Indy car, your pit out lap, you kind of had to tiptoe through Clayton. You couldn't just hammer down because the tires are cold, and if you got a little bit too wide or you missed your turn in on cold tires, it would just send you sailing, and that would be the end of your race. So be interesting to watch how these guys get off of pit road and are able to attack. But unlike a track like Laguna Seca, where the pit delta could really swing because of how unique pit out is at Laguna Seca, you're probably not going to see that here. And Laguna Seca was a track where we saw a lot of positions change hands during the pit stops.
I'm still keeping an eye on the progress Tommy Ryan. Now, he's got Lanini in front of him, and it's I'll tell you what, it's close. It's real close. This could be it. I think Tommy's about to make that move. Did Lanini let him go? Did he move to the outside and let him go? He's going to or plan to try and cross him over. I don't know, but Lanini just moved out of the way. Let him come on in.
Chris is a gentleman's racer, and Always has been. He's one of the cleanest drivers in the league year in and year out. So it wouldn't totally stun me if he saw Tommy
Mardi Gras
screaming up through behind him. Mardi Gras Mall is in. Indeed, Mardi Gras, partying on pit road.
It's a quick stop too.
In and out, just like that. First car to pit. And I'm here to tell you right now, Sean and I have already professed that we're not necessarily going to back up any of our mathematical statisticals in this one. But I can assure you that if you pit on lap 23, you're not making it to 51. That much I feel good about.
Okay.
I mean, that's just simple. 23 times 2 is 46. That much I can do. I've got a calculator in front of me, but I could do it.
Calculator, what's that? We still have those? They still make those?
Well, you know. No
Oh,
comment.
there's actually one in your computer. That's right.
And the Telefono has one as well. Taking a look here at the Candyman running around in third. Mark Cohn has not given up on Dustin Wardlow. I'll tell you that.
Not at all. I haven't given up on watching the battle either, to be honest with you. And Cohn's going to take a look.
Cohn's going to get him.
Dustin got a little squirrely there on the outside. That car twitch you talk about. He twitched.
And Mark Cohn back into a podium spot.
I wonder if it does either of these two any good to split the party up here. I don't think so. I think they may be stuck to each other's strategy here at this point, because honestly there's so much distance between the leaders and the cars behind them fighting. It's like, I don't know.
Well, I think you still got to get one more lap here, I think, to be able to go the distance. I don't know. They're on 25 now. I think you would be good here because they did run the full pace lap. So you can complete lap 25, coming to 26. I do believe that will make you good to go as far as fuel goes. I'm very interested now why Mardi Gras came to pit road, because, I mean, literally nobody else has pit yet.
No. Something just happened to Chris. Chris Reagan's had trouble.
The 19 car has towed to pit road, and
Clayton.
This one's pretty brutal. Oh, and that thing was around early. Boy, he was chasing it, and then Lord Goodyear got a hold of him.
And then just backed it right into the tires.
Lord Goodyear's pretty unforgiving. Here's another look. This car's around awfully early as we look at the onboard. Well, I mean, he was chasing that thing like a midget around Chili Bowl.
Saunders is in. Here we go. The dominoes start to fall. Wardlow.
Boy, Ryan Otis stayed out. He's going to get another lap. So Saunders and Wardlow are in.
Tommy Ryan just pulled off, came on in also.
Ricky Harden following. And that's it for now. Wardlow out.
Well, Saunders made it an awful quick one.
We'll have to see now. Alex Saunders was on pit lane for 27 seconds. He had a 9.5 second pit stop. It's actually ended up being about a second longer than what Wardlow's pit stop was, which is interesting. Although the deltas worked out to be the same. And here's Ryan Otis. The leader is in. Your championship leader and pole sitter is in. And a plethora of cars should be following. Otis is out. Now where's Alex Saunders? Here he is. Boy, and Ryan Otis, that is brutal. Paul Jenkins ends up right in front of him. And Jenkins does the right thing and gets out of his way, but the damage was done, I do believe.
Wow.
That could not have worked out any worse for Ryan Otis.
Well, he's got a bit of work to do now. That's over a second and a half, yeah.
Yeah, that gap was less than a half second for most of this race and is now up to 1.6 plus. That is crushing. And Paul Jenkins didn't really do anything wrong there.
No, he
Just
didn't.
unfortunate.
Bad timing. Wrong place at the wrong time.
Mark Cohn, meanwhile, was able to gap Dustin Wardlow pretty good on the pit stop as well. Cohn now with a 1.5 seconds advantage over the Candyman in the battle for third.
Oh, Chad Dalton's had trouble. I saw Rick. He was fighting with Ricky Harden. And Chad gets off at Clayton. We got a replay of it. I don't think he hits anything.
Wait, Chad was coming off of pit road. And remember the one thing I told you about coming off pit road on fresh tires? The problem is he tried to run it in there side by side and stay ahead of Ricky Harden, and that backfired.
Yeah.
Did a great job keeping it off of Lord Goodyear, though.
Yeah, it really, really was. Excellent save. Ricky certainly didn't do anything wrong there. He was racing his line, trying to get through Clayton just the same. But that was close for Chad. He lost a lot of time to Ricky. A little over 5 seconds now.
But James Paulson on pit road. Boy, he really stretched it out. Should be able to short pit here. That's your last car to make a pit stop.
What did he do to stretch that 27?
And Mardi Gras back on pit road. Did Mardi Gras have problems? I think he did. Either that or he realized that he made a fatal mistake with the early pit and just called it a day. Taking a look to see what happened to Dean Mardi Gras Mall. Running up inside the top 10. And oh, wow, that's a big wreck for Mardi Gras. Lap 26 coming down the hill into Moss.
Yep. I happened to catch it right about the same time.
Wow.
There it is.
That is spectacular. This one's going to hurt. Double check your Hans device, folks. I don't think he's going to make it. A big hit for Dean Mardi Gras Mall. That's a tough way to see his race come to an end from a top 10 qualifying spot to the tire barrier on lap 26. Meanwhile, back up front, Ryan Otis trying to chunk into Alex Saunders' lead. He knocked a 10th off last lap and a 10th off this lap. At the pace we're going right now, Ryan Otis would catch Alex Saunders on about the white flag lap. That's not going to get the job done.
I like what I'm seeing here out of P6. This is going to be an intense four-car battle. Ryan Corns leads it right now. Scott Holmes for Jaegerliner, who's about to lose it to Tommy Ryan. Tommy's very nervous. He wants that spot. He tried to go into the S's. He backed out of it. Look for him to take a swing at it this time, next time they get to Andretti. As long as he can stay close to him here going down into Moss, I think Tommy's going to have a shot at this. I'm bored with Tommy right here. I love this one. You can see the speed of the drivers, and really gives you an idea, just a real good sense of speed and what it's like getting down in a Moss like that. And here, we'll see if he can really pick up any slipstream. I'm afraid he was a little bit too far out of it there to get a legitimate run. Now we're at the top of the hill, rising just a little bit more, and he's going to run out of track here before we get to the S's.
This is a great group here. Corns, Holmes, Jaegerliner, Ryan. Tommy Ryan gets around Travis Jaegerliner. He's going to have a chance to pick up 2 more spots pretty quick.
It's the best one we've got right now, Jason. These
I was
four
just
cars.
was just checking up front to see if Ryan Otis had made any more progress, and in fact, it's gone back and forth over the last 2 laps. So you're not missing anything up there. Same with the battle for third, or what Dustin Wardlow was trying to turn into a battle for third. Right now, he and Mark Cohn are running pretty identical lap times as well. David Clymer, when we say he's in no man's land for fifth, I mean, he can't see anybody in front of him or in his mirror right now. He's out there running time trial laps
He's
to get his
lapping,
safety rating up. So this is it. 6th on back from Corns to Ryan. That's 9th. All separated by less than 2 seconds right now.
I think Tommy's struggling with the dirty air now, to be honest with you, because he's rode up on rode up on Jägerliner several times now, and then backed out of it when it's because he's just run out of track. So I don't know.
The issue I find or always found here, dirty air plays less of a factor as the spots where you can really gain, like Moss, for instance. If your braking point is much later, and so that's where you're gaining a lot of time, it's hard to maintain that late break into Moss when you've caught up to somebody, because you don't really want to, dive it in there very late, but it's also hard to maintain that aggressive braking approach. And Tommy's got a big run this time. I think Travis Jägerliner is going to let him go. He does.
Yep.
Moss is a very tricky corner for multiple reasons, and it's hard to change your routine through that corner. Well, there was an update on. I just saw Chris Reagan in the Lionheart Discord chat said that he runs an Oculus, and his Oculus blacked out on him, which is why he had that crash when he did. So, unfortunate timing there.
Okay. The lead is starting to come into question here. 18 laps to go. Alexander is now only leading by 3/4 of a second.
And that last lap around, Ryan Otis chunked off 0.6 of a second. In fact, Alexander slowed down to similar times of Mark Cohn and Dustin Wardlow. So, not sure if you got distracted or, the cat came in the room or what, but Alexander's lopped off a pretty slow lap by his standards, at least. Ryan Otis continued making low 108 laps and has really eaten into the lead.
And that clipping, that Apex onboard camera, I'm starting to have the feeling Ryan is starting to he's starting to reel in his spirit animal, the Lotus 79, and Saunders is going to have company soon, real soon. I can't believe how much the rest of the field have literally fallen off at this point. I mean, Cohn is, 23 seconds back from Ryan? They have decimated this field, and honestly, traffic hasn't even really been a factor for him that much at this point. So
it's been pretty impressive to watch these guys most of the season, really, and Sage Karam runs as well. George Sandman, there's another, by the way, super fast driver that we're missing in this one on road courses, but they are just, when you use the term alien, it's fairly appropriate for some of the drivers in this series. Still lobbying for I want a shootout road course series. Ryan Otis, Alex Saunders, Sage Karam, Adam Blocker, George Sandman, Jake Wright, retro car, 6-car shootout, fixed setups that are handed out 5 minutes before qualifying. What do you think, Sean? Can we make that happen?
Yeah, I don't know, man. We got to talk to George. We got to sit down, roll up our sleeves, and get to work on that.
Right. 10-lap shootout. 10-lap shootout, 6 cars. Random track and setup every week that they don't know about until right before we go live. Let's make it happen. That sounds like an off-season series. Those six with only a few minutes to prepare would put on, I think, some of the best road course racing we've ever seen.
On board the Patrick Taylor Memorial camera there with George Anzaldo. The battle, it's still this one that we've been referring to here for a bit now, actually since the pit stops. Corns, Holmes, and Ryan. Aside from the lead, this is still just as intense as it was almost 10 minutes ago.
And Travis Jagerliner has kind of dropped off the back of Tommy Ryan after letting him go.
And Ryan's about to, set up another driver for a move here, slowly, patiently, but Scott Holmes better watch out. This could be an opportunity here out of Moss.
Tommy Ryan, I like that line he took was real good. He went wide to try to get the run off, although it didn't look like he got a real good second half of Moss. We'll have to see how the toe works out here for Ryan down the Andretti straight, and I don't know if he's going to be close enough. Yeah, doesn't look like it.
I say that. He thought about it for a second, and then Holmes covered him off there.
Ryan had the right idea through Moss, though. Take the first half of it wide to get that kind of more angled run off, get the power down sooner. He just didn't get the car to cut. And in fact, I would argue Scott Holmes was the better car through the S's and whites and back onto the front straight. So we'll see if Ryan can reset it. So we've got a battle for the lead shaping up, it looks like. Boy, big time. Ryan Otis is there.
Everybody's favorite turn. It's Otis as he gets the inside, down to 1.
Wow, look at this.
Dig, dig, dig.
They're going to go too wide? Oh, this is dangerous.
Are. Oh, Ryan Noble, that's a white lion.
That was dramatic. I told you Ryan Otis is a conservative driver, but I thought he might throw it away given that the championship is locked up, and that was maybe the defining moment of his mentality changing right there. And if you want to know how this got started, if you back up one lap to lap 37 through Moss, they had caught George Anzaldo to lap him, and George did nothing wrong, but Alex Saunders just caught George in a bad spot and had to back up his corner through Moss, and that's how Ryan Otis closed in. They both got around Anzaldo on the Andretti straight, and now Otis takes another look and pulls back in.
Oh, Chris Laney's just had a problem.
I hate to see that for Chris.
He was all by himself, too. Just,
Clayton.
The brakes got him, man.
Well, he almost saved it. He chased that thing forever, didn't he?
He sure did. He did save it. I mean, he didn't hit anything.
Alex Saunders? Moss bites the leader. Alex Saunders.
It really did. And you know what? We were talking about Harden taking that wide approach. He runs it a little wide, runs it maybe just a little too wide, gets it up over the curb.
And boy, Ryan Otis did a phenomenal job not driving into Saunders. Otherwise, they both might have handed Mark Cohn a victory here. And Ryan Otis has just been gifted this one, it feels like.
And checked out. Here we go on the replay with Otis. We'll see it from his view. Well, he knew he was going around. All he needed to do was get on the brakes there. He had a good chance. But like you said earlier, Jason, this car doesn't like jamming on the brakes.
No,
so
it
obviously
does not.
a lot of skill by Otis there and probably a decent set of pedals. I imagine he's got. Otis with treble and loss. No!
What are we doing, boys?
George Anzaldo's just like What is going on?
Right? Get me out of here.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be anywhere around this. I'm just trying to finish a race here, guys.
Otis did a good job hanging on to that, I got to tell you. That could have been a lot uglier.
Well, yeah, and Saunders gains very, very little by that mistake. So, his advantage still Otis is still going to come across. 11 to go.
See how much Alex Saunders able to knock off. Yeah, and only got a second and a half back. So Saunders, who lost about 6 seconds, gets a quarter of that back. So he needs Ryan Otis to make another really major mistake here at some point over the final 11 and a half laps that we have left in this one. Battle for 6th. And this is Ryan Corns and Scott Holmes. Boy, this has been brewing for about 20 laps.
It really had. Well, ever since the pit stop, these three came back out on track together. They fought a little bit with Jägerliner, and then they dropped him. Yeah, it's been anything but a quiet second half of the race for these three. I still think Tommy's got another couple positions in him here. I'm not giving up on him yet. He is our biggest mover of the race, hands down. Although his teammate Ricky back there in 10th, he's picked up 11. So, yeah, I'm not giving up on Ryan yet. He might have a couple more in him here.
So they work their way through Moss and onto Andretti. But Tommy Ryan's problem is he's just not getting the launch out of Moss like he had been earlier. In fact, Scott Holmes is going to have a chance here to maybe poke his nose out on Ryan Corns at the end of this straightaway. At least try to make Corns make a mistake, and here's the move. And Holmes is there, too wide through the S's. Corns gets a run, and that allows Tommy Ryan to reel them both back in as they come off of whites down the front straight.
This is fun to watch. I like seeing three cars like this. Let's face it, the car is evenly matched. The drivers apparently are very evenly matched here. They've made nary a mistake.
Yeah, they're so close that even the slightest bobble would result in a change of positions or pretty dramatic turn of events for each of these drivers, and none of them have done it so far. Boy, Tommy Ryan, that was the Moss corner he's been waiting for.
I saw that. I saw the same thing you did, Jason. Here he goes. Gonna go to the left.
Boy, the problem is Scott Holmes has Ryan Corns' draft.
Yep.
Boy, it doesn't get better than this. Look at Ryan sticking the nose in there, trying to hold the spot, won't do it. And so Tommy Ryan perhaps needs to scribble in his notebook that next time he gets a run like that, pick the lane that Ryan Corns is in. Saw how dramatic the draft affected Scott Holmes' run there, especially as these cars get lighter and lighter on fuel with less than 10 laps to go now. You are missing nothing anywhere else, by the way. We will keep you updated. If anything changes up front, Ryan Otis with a 5-second lead over Alex Saunders. It's 20 seconds back to third, and Mark Cohn, who right now has about a 2.5-second lead on Dustin Wardlow. David Clymer is all by himself in fifth. So that's why we're watching this battle. 6th, 7th, and 8th. And even Travis Jägerliner has not completely disappeared from this group of cars here in the 9th spot. So we'll let you know if anything else changes. These 3.5 are the battle.
Travis has left himself in a good spot here. These three get to tangling. That's 3 really, really good spots for Jägerliner all of a sudden.
Boy, Scott Holmes gets through the S's and whites so good, but he can't do anything with it.
Yeah, it's
advantage Ryan Corns in turn 1. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's.
Whoa! David Clymer was off.
Clymer.
And everybody picks up spots. Here comes Jagerlener around the outside of him as well. David Clymer goes from 5th to 9th with that mistake. Oh, that got super ugly.
Yeah, and of course it happened in Clayton. I mean, that's where all the carnage has been today. Only a couple
Tommy
of
Ryan,
cars.
meanwhile, with a huge run. Sorry to cut you off there,
Yeah,
Sean.
that's all right.
Tommy's right next to Holmes, and this time he's got a nose out on him. Are they going to try to go 3 wide? Get out of here. Oh, boy. I think Ryan Corns threw a little bit of a block there, and Scott Holmes has to concede the position to Tommy Ryan. Boy, Scott Holmes really wanted to go 3 wide. I mean, everything in his body wanted to go 3 wide, and Ryan Corns said, I don't think so.
There's Tommy on the outside there, switching back to the inside here in the black and yellow car, and that was his move on Holmes. But they've traded positions again.
Yes, they have. And it happened this time. Coming off of turn 1, Tommy Ryan got a little wide out over the rumble strip.
Yeah, watch out!
They're still going at it into Moss. Ryan Corns loves this. He's looking in his mirror going, keep at it, boys. Keep going. And there's going to be a lap car here, and Paul Jenkins who's going to factor into this momentarily. Tommy Ryan with another run. Wheel to wheel down Andretti again. Coming to 6 laps to go this time around. Oh, Scott Holmes drifted a little bit, and Tommy Ryan, I think, had to pedal it. Holmes caught a lot of the curb in the first S's. Tommy Ryan really had to check himself. And here's what I'm saying about Paul Jenkins is Ryan Corns is going to be the first one to catch him. They come down Clayton clean.
He's going to be down in Moss, too. We're going to get him.
Get through Quebec. Down the hill. Into Moss. And boy, are you right about that. Ryan Corns catches Paul Jenkins just about the worst spot.
Yeah. You know what? Great job by Paul there, though.
Yeah, hanging on.
Not getting rattled. Yeah, not getting rattled. Getting through Moss clean. That could have ended horribly.
Scott Holmes trying to draft up on Jenkins here and get around him before they get into the S's, and Paul does the right thing and hammers the brakes. Except for he didn't do it long enough for Tommy Ryan to get through, and that's got to be just killer for Ryan. Not that Paul did anything wrong there. It just didn't work out timing-wise.
Yeah,
and Tommy Ryan, as a result, ends up about a half second back of the cars in front.
I think Tommy has started to back up just a little bit. After that one moment he had coming out of the S's there where he had to pedal it, and it just seems like he's never been able to catch back up. That didn't help, obviously. Having to get by the traffic. Oh, wait a minute. Holmes just had a problem. He missed a turn there or something. Car was slow. Ryan might still have an opportunity at this yet.
Well, it's like
4.5 laps.
It's like he missed a gear. Alex Saunders. What happened to Alex Saunders? Oh, he's in the wall.
Wow.
Oh, Alex Saunders from second place throws it away. Boy.
And you know,
these race drivers never want to see Clayton again.
Third or fourth car we've seen it was actually loose before it went off track.
You know, there's a bump in the middle of Clayton there, and the Indy car gets over it okay, but I wonder if this car with the ground effects
he hit it
and the
right
way
there.
the suspension's set up, it's just, you know, it's probably, my guess would be that it's bottoming out. If you just hit it the wrong way, it bottoms out and off you go.
Wow.
I see Alex Saunders already typing in the chat on Discord. He said he had some random side pod damage he wasn't sure was from. And I'm guessing that was affecting the handling of his car. So what a disappointing night for Alex Saunders. And all of a sudden, Mark Cohn is looking at the second place finish on a road course, and the Candyman's onto the podium.
And if all Candyman's got to do is just take care of business here over the next 3 laps. You just got Corns and Holmes still very much in a fight back there. In fact, that's getting really close. It looks like Holmes is about to set him up here. They're going to come to White's.
I was going to say, in fact, Corns and Holmes is all of a sudden a battle for the podium if anybody in front of them makes a mistake. So this went from, hey, I'm trying to finish 6th to, hey, I might get an interview. David Clymer is starting to reel in Travis Jägerlener as well, and that's now the battle for 7th. We'll keep you updated on that. We don't want to leave this one. If anything changes, we'll let you know.
You see who's behind these two? You see that yellow car? It's kind of creeped back into the picture.
Back in, yeah. We got back down in the 108s last time, 108.7. Boy, Scott Holmes is right there. Can he get the power down is the question. I think he's close enough. The draft's going to play into effect here. And I tell you what, they're going to get side by side and watch Tommy Ryan just eat both of them up with 2 laps to go this time around. Get your popcorn out. Boy, it almost sounded like Scott Holmes missed a shift there. Car jumped into a real high RPM. Man, Ryan Otis, meanwhile, is just so far ahead. He has taken the white flag. Final lap for your champion. And he will be able to bring it on home for the 3rd time in 2019.
Another bad turn there for Scott Holmes.
Tommy Ryan trying to undercut out of Moss onto the Andretti straight, and it doesn't look like anybody really got a great exit. Ryan Corns might have had the best, although here comes Ryan. Down the straight, Tommy Ryan jumps to the outside of Holmes, who's still using the Corns draft. We'll break away from this to show you the checkered flag and then get right back as they go through the S's. Holmes hangs on. Look at that run. Holmes drifting and has to save it. Here comes Tommy Ryan. The chance to undercut down the front straight. He's going to do it. White flag for this battle. Tommy Ryan's going to get the spot into turn 1. They'll head off into Clayton, and we'll head back to our leader, Ryan Otis, out of White's for the final time. Your 2019 champion takes the checkered flag, and Ryan Otis wins. And Ryan Corns spins.
Corns
spins in Clayton. Corns spins. Tommy Ryan goes around. He's moved up all the way to the 4th spot.
Tommy
What a
Ryan
moment.
up to P4, Jason.
And Tommy Ryan sideways in Moss, and here comes Holmes. Chaos on the final lap.
And you know what? Holmes had to get out of it so much. It killed his run at him. Oh, he's not going to have enough to get here. None at all.
Mark Cohn has taken the checkered flag in 2nd. Wait, what happened to Dustin Wardlow? Dustin Wardlow out of fuel? Are you kidding? Dustin Wardlow's out of fuel on the final lap? This is for the podium. Tommy Ryan from dead last on the grid is going to finish on the podium. What is happening in Motorsport? What
Tommy
a
Ryan.
finish. Tommy Ryan to the podium.
Redneck strength,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Scott Holmes is 4th, and Travis Jägerlener salvages a top 5 out of that one.
And the Candyman is out of fuel.
Amjad, how many replays you got lined up? Let's start with Ryan Corns, and this is where it all goes downhill on the final lap. Corns ends up in 7th, but this essentially throws away a podium here. Clayton claims another one before the race ends.
And Dustin Wardlow had to tow. Car stopped on the track. Oh, my.
Boy, you know, Dustin Wardlow followed Alex Saunders onto pit road, and they were the only 2 to pit on the lap that they did.
Yeah.
And so you wonder if Alex Saunders would have had enough as well. That's interesting.
Wow.
Poor Candyman. Ryan Otis, meanwhile, celebrating his win and officially now the championship in the Lionheart Retro Series, although we'll hand out all the accoutrement next week at Auto Club. What a crazy finish to this one. What a night. The Patrick Taylor Memorial Grand Prix of Motorsport. And it goes to Ryan Otis. We'll hear from our podium, including what has to be a stunned Tommy Ryan, I would imagine, after a quick word from our friends here on the iRacing Esports Network. Stay with us.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
What a night! What a night! Here in round 17 of the Lionheart Retro Series, presented by Butt Kicker, the Patrick Taylor Memorial Grand Prix of Motorsport. And it has come to a completion here, and this is the post-race show brought to you by our friends at Plasma Tracks. I gotta tell you, are you looking for the perfect gift for somebody who's a racing fan? Maybe in time for the holidays? Maybe you got a birthday coming up? Maybe your wife loves decorating the house and auto racing stuff. If that's the case, how about Valentine's Day? You should head to plasma-tracks.com. They produce original racetrack wall art, motorsports trophies, home decor, motorsports fabrication. It's also available. Words can't do justice the uniqueness of this product. The only way to fully appreciate the artwork, see it yourself, but be warned, if you buy one, you're going to want an entire office full of them. Plasma-tracks.com is the website. See all of their great work. Use the promo code LRS2019. You'll get 25% off of your order. This one is in the books, and it was bonkers at the end. Let's take a look at the race results brought to you by our friends at the Sim Pit, and it's Ryan Otis picking up the win for the third time in 2019, a defining exclamation point thrown onto his championship campaign. The Watchman, Mark Cohn, a career best road course run, comes home in second. Tommy Ryan, welcome back, Tommy. Hope you enjoyed that one. No pressure here, but every one of your races has to be that exciting from this day forward. Scott Holmes comes home in fourth. Travis Jagerlander comes home fifth. David Clymer sixth. Ryan Korn's heartbreak would have been a podium finish. Spins on the final lap, ends at seventh. The Candyman Dustin Wardlow couldn't even complete the final lap. He ran out of fuel while running third. Speaking of heartbreak, comes home in eighth. Ricky Harden, great run for him, up to the ninth spot. And Chris Lanini, even with a spin, able to hang on for a top 10.
All right, then we'll go back to 11th. It's going to be Chad Dalton. James Paulson going to finish the lap down. So does George Enzalo there in 13th place. Paul Jenkins, 14th. Alex Saunders. Man, what could have been for him tonight? He'll finish 15th, 4 laps down. And all the rest of these drivers had some trouble early or just decided to peel it off. Mardi Gras Mall, unfortunately, bad. Just didn't get the result he wanted tonight. 16th. Chris Reagan, 17th. Robert Bluen, 18th. Adam Young, 19th. Clayton got him. Frank Beezer in 20th. Aaron Morgan, Finian, Ducana, and Mike Rigney round out your 23-car Lotus 79 field tonight. And Jason, you've caught up with an old friend of mine and friend of yours. And, well, everybody loves him. Ryan Otis.
The champion, Ryan Otis. Congratulations, Ryan. I think that we can officially crown you the champion now. After this one, there's no way anybody can chase you down no matter what happens at Auto Club. And you did it in style. You got the win tonight. It was an interesting race from the pole. Gave up the lead early. He took a couple of shots at Alex Saunders, and then chaos ensued in the middle of that race. What was that like, trying to chase down Alex Saunders there in the middle of this one?
Well, I tell you what, Alex did an amazing job at the start. I will say I struggle to drive this car in dirty air, and he just seems to be a master at it. He was able to stay with me through the fast stuff, and then got a good run after Moss Corner and ended up getting me. It got pretty nuts there in the middle. I felt like, overall, kind of in clean air, I felt like I was kind of on average just a little bit quicker, so I was able to run them down after pit stops. But obviously, catching somebody and passing them is two different things, and we had some really good slicing and dicing there. That really was great fun. I felt, I saw he'd gone into Moss really fast a couple of times, and each time he did it, I was a little bit too far to capitalize. And then, that last one, he just went sailing in there and was riding it sideways all the way through. So I was just hoping not to hit him. And that was pretty much the end of that. But that was fun. He did a great job. That was a blast.
Sean and I had talked about it a couple times. You weren't the only driver to have somebody go around right in front of them. Happened in Moss a few times, happened in White's a few times. How hard for those watching this race, you don't have a lot of time in this car, especially in a competitive setting. Explain to them, I was trying to explain to everybody just how hard this car is to drive in wreck avoidance. It's not like the Indy car where you can just whip it around. I mean, this thing is very finicky with the movements you put in.
Oh, yeah. Once you kind of get it up on edge, it gets really sensitive, and it's really easy to upset the car trying to avoid somebody, and you just end up spinning yourself, and then it becomes a bigger mess for everybody else. It is really tough, especially when you're on the edge. I saw him really sliding sideways for what seemed like forever in front of me, and when he started the slide, I was going to go right, and I was going to go right, and then I saw him kind of swing around just a little bit more, and he started coming right. So kind of at the last moment, I decided to go left, and ended up working out. But when I saw the slide start, I backed off a bunch, because if you're right up on the limit and you need to avoid something, there's just no options. You end up getting collected in it.
Well, it's a great win for you. You're third of the season, and more importantly, you made a full-time return to the series this year, I think, with one goal in mind. And tonight you officially complete and conquer that mission. You are the 2019 champion, in the Lionheart Retro Series presented by Butt Kicker will officially crown you next week. But, you get to go into the final race of the year. And even tonight, I think I made a comment to Sean at one point. You made a move on Alex there and Moss at one point that I don't think you would have made had this been a 10-point championship battle, So it's got to be fun for you to be able to kind of, roll up your sleeves, so to speak, and just go out there and throw the car around without, much concern for how the championship standings will play out at this point, knowing that you're the champion.
Yeah, that was actually a lot of fun. I made a few real sort of close maneuvers, and we were side by side there for a while. And when you're thinking championship, some of that stuff, maybe you back out of it, maybe you don't, maybe you press it. But in this instance, I was just kind of going for it. And he's a great driver, so I totally respect that he's going to hold his line, and I'm planning to hold my line. But things happen in close racing. But I was glad it all worked out. I think it's been a great season, really, overall. I think the difference for me, I think, was just doing better on the ovals and just trying to be smarter about working in traffic and knowing when to give up spots and when not to fight for things when it's just not worth it. So it's been a long year. It's been great fun. Really appreciate you guys doing the broadcast. And I just got to say, we all miss Patrick. I know this is the memorial race for him, so we're all thinking about him.
Definitely echo those sentiments. Ryan, congratulations. You're a fine champion of this series. I'm sure everybody over the admin team side of things is proud to have you represent this league as the champion, and we look forward to doing a little more celebrating next week at Auto Club.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Ryan Otis, your race winner tonight at the Patrick Taylor Memorial Grand Prix of Motorsports. And Sean, I think you've caught up with the happiest man in virtual Canada.
I think I have. Mark Cohn you've got to just be extremely elated right now. What a big night. You're going to climb up in the rookie standings, and you finished on the podium in a road course race here in Canada. How are you feeling right now, buddy?
Second place on a road course? Are you kidding me? This is unbelievable. I just cannot believe this.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about it in the pre-race. You're in the thick of this battle for rookie of the year. You're just a few points behind Sage Karam going into this. Jenkins, you were only 19 points behind him going into tonight. Obviously, this is better than you expected. Did you ever imagine this would work out for you tonight?
No way, not at all. Just I was practicing like crazy because I wanted to do better after that abomination that was Laguna Seca. I did not at all expect to get on the podium. This is on a road course. This is just I really cannot believe it. For once I actually managed to save fuel, and then it was just holding on to the end.
Yeah.
And I'm in disbelief right now. This is amazing.
All right. Well, now it all started with a great qualifying effort. You obviously had put into practice because, you qualified third in this race. And here at Motorsport, honestly, qualifying really important.
Yeah, I had hoped that maybe just starting a bit later than everyone else might pay off. And then I looked and it was like, oh shoot, the temperature is actually gaining. So I just had to drive like crazy, hope that a lap would stick. And somehow it did. For once, I actually performed well on a road course.
All right, Mark, I got to ask you the question everybody wants to know. What watch are you wearing tonight?
Oh, I just have this tiny Victorinox that I use that fits under my gloves.
All right. Well, maybe it was the question I wanted to know then. Maybe, I don't know if everybody wanted to know it. I wanted to know. So there we go. All right. Hey, Mark, congratulations. I can't calculate. I'm not even going to attempt to calculate the points, but you and Saunders are going to be neck and neck now for second in the Rookie of the Year standing. So
Thank you so much. And before I go, I would just like to take the time and quickly thank my sponsors. Of course, we got SimLab, Sam Maxwell Customs, Harpoon Design, Crystal Times, and I'm so happy to announce that I now have Z1 dashboard on my car. I've been using Z1 dashboard since I started iRacing, and that was what helped me save so much fuel tonight. And of course, my teams, NLR, Tyler Graff, who supported me so much through this week, and of course, Loud Pedal Motorsports, Brian, Jason, the whole gang. Can't say enough about them. Oh, and of course, Lionheart, GSRC, always love your coverage.
All right, Jason, that is the Watchman, Mark Cohn, always capable of a complete interview, sir. He
Told
is
you he was the
well
happiest man
studied
in
young
virtual
lad.
Canada.
Yes,
Happiest man
the
in virtual
happiest man in virtual Canada.
Maybe the
Here's
most
the
shocked
second
man
one.
in virtual
Here's the
Canada.
second
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Tommy Ryan. Tommy, have you not have you? How many times have you is probably the better question since this race and looked around and gone, what in the world just happened?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I was just honestly just showing up here. I wanted to just, start in the back, just kind of pick my way through and just get experience. And the positions kept coming and guys were wrecking and running out of gas. And I was like, Ricky was asking me over our channel. He was like, what position are you going to finish? And I was like, hang on a second. And just put my head down. And I mean, I got lucky a couple times, but yeah, what the hell was that?
I think you picked up 5 spots in the last 3 laps, if I did my math right. So, man, that was fun to watch. So, Sean and I, we were on you pretty early. You guys had a lot of pace, you and Ricky both, and then you especially as the race continued on. So, I just got to ask you guys, we're running a little short on time here, but are we going to see more of you and Ricky around? So, when y'all ran with us a couple years ago, that made for some pretty fun racing.
Oh yeah, man. We contacted George a few weeks back, and we were. I was getting pretty pumped. I ran a CTC race on Sunday morning in this car, and we used to run that together. And it was like, yeah, man, let's check out this retro thing again with Lionheart. It's just I live on the East Coast, man, so it's pretty late right now. But I was like, it's not every week, so I got the fever, man, after running that race, and here we are. But yeah, we're planning on running this next season for sure. I'm going to be around next week, just try to get more experience and learn how everybody races. I'm still not a whole lot of confidence, man, going into corners too wide and stuff. But I'm ready to dig.
I personally, I'm sorry, Jason, just real quickly. I
Yeah.
personally thought the effort by you and Ricky was pretty unacceptable.
It was very unacceptable. Yeah.
That's how we roll, man.
Welcome back, Tommy. It's good to have you guys back. Really, a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I tried to show as much respect out there as I could. Our first goal was to come out here and just have fun and not kill anybody and ruin anybody's race who's raced here all season. And I wanted to mix it up when I could, when I had enough confidence to do so. But just glad we both came out, clean cars and didn't cause any real drama. And plan on doing the same thing next week, honestly, and next season. That's how we race. We don't come in here and stir up and cause a shit show or anything. Sorry for the language, but just want to thank my sponsor, Northern Tool and Equipment, Patriot Fire, Coastal Safety Auditors.
Great run tonight, Tommy. Tommy Ryan, good to have them back in the series with Ricky Hardin and the Unacceptable team here. And Sean, it is, yes, indeed. It's very, very late on the East Coast. I made the personal request to extend interviews a little bit tonight because I wanted to talk to the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow, because he had third wrapped up all the way until like the last half mile of this track.
Oh boy, did he!
Dustin, what happened to your fuel? Where'd it go?
I don't know. I think the cat that was jumping on my lap might have took it. It was an interesting last few laps, but I came really close to making that first stint. So close, in fact, that I thought, I'd be able to do the same thing and just save a little extra, on the second stint. So I went ahead and came in and tried to play it safe, and it just totally backfired. I wasn't saving or gaining any time at all. it just is what it is. I guess 2 nights in a row.
So it's Brimstone's fault. Is that what you're telling me?
Big cat, man. Yeah. For lack of a worse word, all over the place here.
It's all right. Tommy Ryan's already got the FCC all over us tonight. So,
Well, yeah, I won't make it worse.
Dustin Hayden was a good run. Sorry about the way it ended, though, bud.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm glad that I got to come in here though and say something about Patrick. It just we all miss him. You know, we all talk about him regularly. He was a guy that we all made a fuss over long before the tragedy. So we are everybody here is thinking about him tonight, and I just wish his family well still. And I'm glad it was an entertaining time for everyone.
Amen, man. Amen. See you next week, Dustin.
All right, guys. See you then.
That's the Candyman, and Sean. I think we got one more person here, and I have a feeling this one will be less about the race tonight and more about the reason we raced.
Yeah, George, how you doing, buddy? Brought you in, let you run free with it here.
Oh, hi, Sean. Hi, Jason. Thanks for the broadcast tonight. Yeah, just just kind of wanted to come in and just say a few quick words. Obviously, this race tonight was to celebrate Patrick's memory. For those of the drivers and everyone out there who may not have known who he was just someone super special and important to the league. He came in as a driver and was just so giving, offered up so much of his time, his energy, found his way on the admin team, and was just an amazing person and helped grow this league. And quite honestly, like set the standard for excellence that we're trying to live up to still. Again, he was that friendly voice when new drivers would enter the league. Is just someone that you became a better person just by knowing him. Just somebody that when you were in his presence, even if it was online, you wanted to be a better person just because of the type of person that he was. So yeah, we miss him terribly. It's been 2 years. I still try to keep in touch with his family because we're, as his mom said, we're that connection to their son. So we're keeping in touch with them, and yeah, we just miss him, and it's really special to still see guys displaying the memorial decal on their cars, and even a lot of the guys who are new to the league who didn't know him, but they've heard about him, and so they're even carrying on his memory. So that means a lot to us. Yeah, he basically was everything that's great about Lionheart. Just one of those guys that once you meet him, you never forget him. So yeah, just we're gonna keep continuing on with the league and everything we do, and we're gonna carry him with us as long as Lionheart's around, and even beyond that. So thanks for giving me that time. I really appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah. No, I have a quick question for you now. Are you gonna keep Motorsport on the schedule, and will that always be the Patrick Taylor Memorial Race?
Well, I'll tell you, he really enjoyed this track a lot. Mosport, I think, is going to be a staple for Lionheart for the foreseeable future. Certainly, if we decide to switch things up a little bit, we definitely would continue with a Canadian track. But definitely, this one was one of his favorites, and I have a lot of memories racing here with him, and just turning laps and just talking. Yeah, just a super great guy. I always had hoped to maybe go down to Canada and catch a race or have him meet up with us at the Iowa meetup, and unfortunately it didn't happen. Yeah, but we'll see him again one day.
All right, George. Well, thanks for those words, and thanks to you and all the guys for putting on a hell of a race tonight, man. It was a lot of fun.
Count the retro series out. We'll see you in 2020, baby.
All righty. George Anzalda right there, series founder, president, CEO, all of the above of the Lionheart series there. And I know that George mentioned, Sean, that Patrick's mom does still tune in to a good chunk of our races. I'm sure she's watching here tonight. So Joanne, if you're out there and you're still watching, just know that everything we did tonight is in honor of your son and the impact that he made on all of our lives. And man, do we still miss him like crazy. Unbelievable how much we miss Patrick Taylor each and every day. So God bless you and your family, and happy holidays to you. We hope that you guys are able to keep him in your memory this holiday season, and just know that your son was the greatest, and we certainly miss him here. So I want to thank everybody here at the Lionheart Racing Series, George and all the admin teams, the great sponsors that help us put this on, including our friends at Butt Kicker. If you're interested in Butt Kicker products, use the promo code LION25. You'll get 25% off your order with Butt Kicker, and you will not find a finer product on the market than the product that they make. Of course, all these great sponsors that you see here on the screen. Head to LionheartRacingSeries.com. There's more information available on all the sponsors of this league, and the league really does its best to support each and every one of them. We appreciate that these companies take their time and money to support this league here. Of course, we mentioned George and Zaldo here at GSRC. We have some great folks that help us as well. Software and hardware that we use in our broadcast are presented by these groups of people and companies you see on your screen. We want to thank June Lalonde as well, provide some wonderful music that we use. Find out how to get a hold of her for more great work by heading to that web address on the screen right there. Thank the team today. Sean, thanks for jumping in there for Brian. Amjad, Dougie. I'll give Yaz some credit just because he gave me some great inspiration today. He said, Galvin, you're on your own. Really inspired me, Yaz. Thanks for that one. Head to GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. You can find our archive races, upcoming broadcasts. We're on Twitter at GSRC Channel. We're on Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. I think Sean runs those, so if you want to hassle him over the Texas Rangers not signing Anthony Rendon, go ahead and hit him up there.
Oh.
I saved that one all night. Our next race is next week. And you see there on your screen right now, the IndyCar Series is going to wrap up their season December 18th on Wednesday. Well, the Retro Series will do the same thing next Thursday night, both from Auto Club Speedway. Got some other upcoming races here you see streaming across your screen. Make sure you check out the iRacing Esports Network as well. That's what you're watching right now. Go hit subscribe on all those YouTube channels. Check out all the great iRacing coming your way here in the coming weeks. Until next time, for Sean, Amjad, Dougie, and the gang, I'm Jason Galvin. Remember, Newman's first law. Your brakes are useless when you're upside down. Good night, everybody.